Hello, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. All right, tonight we're going to explore some really fun products from Hunkydory. We showed these products in the last couple weeks, whatever, and I've been really excited to try them out. So I thought tonight is the night. All right, so there are two kind of groups of projects or products I want to kind of explore. First is the Build a Bouquet. All right, so I'll go through them in a second. All right, so we're going to play around with this as well as the zipped up with the matching fabrics. All right, so that is where we're going this evening. So super excited to try these out. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side right now, the zipped up, and we're going to just focus on the Build a Bouquet. And then we will switch over to that in a little bit. All right. So thank you for everyone that is watching live. All right. Comments are there. If you want to pop anything in the comments, that would be wonderful. And I'll answer them as best I can. All right. So, all right. So let's talk about the Build a Bouquet products first. All right. So this is a really I was really excited when this came in. And these are 6x6 card fronts from Hunkydory. And there are 36 card fronts in here, which I think is pretty amazing. There are 12 gold foiled card fronts, 12 silver foiled card fronts, and then 12 black printed card fronts. All right. So this is on what they're called their Ink Me cardstock. All right. So it's a nice white cardstock and it accepts ink really well. So if you wanted to do some ink blending on there, it's going to do really, really well. All right. But you can see the designs. Now, this is the gold foiled one. All right. Oh, there we go. We can see it. The camera, the light is reflecting off of it. All right. And you're going to get two of each of the gold foil designs. And then we have this one. And if you notice, these images have stems and leaves, but no florals really. All right. They might have small florals like the first one had a few little florals, but you will see that there are stems without the flower heads. All right. Here's another one. These are still the gold ones. All right. And we've got the lovely heart. All right. And then we've got this kind of like circular design. And then that's it for the gold. And then those repeat in the foiled silver. You're going to get the same designs in the foiled silver. And then you are going to get those same designs in what they call a printed black. All right. So these are not foiled, they're just printed black. All right. Oops, looks like there's blank ones in there, but the paper is just flipped. All right. So you're going to get basically six of each of the design, two in gold, two in silver, and two in black. All right. So there's a whole lot in this pack. So I've ordered this in, and then I realized that there was a Build a Bouquet pad to go with this. So we got this one in as well. And these two products go together. However, I'm going to show you that you can use it with the three-dimensional florals I love to create from Elizabeth Crafts. All right. So the Build a Bouquet, this is an 8x8 die cut pad, and there are 48 pages of die cut flowers and leaves in here in every color. All right. It says over 1,300 die cut elements. That's a whole lot of flowers, but we love to layer them. So if I flip through this, on the back ones are going to be plain white ones. And that is on that same cardstock, the Ink Me cardstock. I think that's what it's called. No, yeah, the Ink Me cardstock, which really accepts ink really well. So you're going to get a bunch of pages that are plain white so you can do your own inking. So we're going to play around with some of those. Then you're going to get the colored ones. These are all perforated, all right? So they're just a punch out. And like I said, in all the colors of the rainbow, in different shapes of florals. So you can have fun mixing and matching and layering and such, all right? So a whole lot of goodness in this pad, all right? So for those that don't like creating your own three-dimensional flowers, like going the Elizabeth Craft way, this is a good solution because everything's already colored for the most part and die cut for you. And then you can either shape them or form them or just layer them onto your project. All right. So really cool products from Hunkydory. All right. Like I said, you can use them together or independently. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this aside because I'm going to start with my Elizabeth Craft florals. Now I've taken the liberty of actually die cutting and inking a bunch of them already, just so that you're not all watching me ink florals, because I've done this before in the past, and I'll explain what I do, but I just thought it might be boring for you. So, so all right, so I'm going to start with one of these ones that have this kind of like floral garden here. So I'm going to get the gold one because that's the one that's speaking to me, and where is it? There it is. Okay, bottom of the pile. Okay, so I'm gonna grab that one first. And I thought it would be kind of cool to build up some kind of daisy-like flowers on here. All right. And then again, this is using Elizabeth Crafts florals. So I just randomly picked one off the shelf today. And that's why I'm doing daisies, because I thought this one kind of looked like daisies. So this is from the Paper Flowers collection by Angelica Turner from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And this is florals number 31. All right. So I really like this floral because I thought, oh, I could do daisies with it. I could do Gerber daisies with it. And even in the fall time, you could do kind of like a chrysanthemum with this kind of floral. All right. Depending on your ink choices. So that's the one I chose. All right, so I took the liberty of already like die cutting and inking these, so I'm going to form them. So I like to use Elizabeth Crafts soft white cardstock. All right, so it's a specific cardstock from Elizabeth Crafts. Accepts ink really nicely, and I just love the texture on there. I don't know if the camera will pick up the texture. It's got almost like a little dotty texture on the paper, but that is what I love to use when I form flowers. All right, so I've die cut them, and I'm going to form them and get them kind of together. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a little bit of inking on this one just to show you how easy it is to ink these backgrounds. All right, so I'm going to grab my little foam board. I'm excited because this is the first time I'm trying this. All right, so this is the new foam pad from Spellbinders, and I love the density of it. It's nice and thick, and it's not overly squishy, so it's really good for forming flowers. And I love the fact that it fits in my little large craft stacks. My little large craft stack, that makes no sense. On the large craft stacks, all right? So now I have a nice forming board that's protected in my craft stacks tray, and then it also has the lid, all right? So I'm excited to try this. All right. So let's go ahead and start forming these florals. I'm going to do a simple kind of forming, and I'm using that wonderful tool that we all have, and it's a teaspoon. All right. So a lot of people, when they form these florals, they will use, tools like this. This is an old tool set from Elizabeth Crafts. It's no longer available, but it has some of those products that we use for forming, and those are those large ball styluses. Sometimes we refer to something like a hockey stick as well, but a teaspoon is the best tool ever. All right. So for this here, I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to shape them from the top. I'm just going to take my tip of my teaspoon here and then just kind of drag it over top of the petal just so that they curl up just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to do that on all of them. And I really like this pad, everyone. It's got a good, oh yeah, it's got a good density to it. Sometimes the shaping foam pads, they're too squishy, and I don't like them. I like this one. So I'm going to do all these really quickly. All right, we're going to create 7 little kind of daisy florals. And like I said, I cut this out of the Elizabeth Craft cardstock, soft white finished cardstock, I think that's what it's called. I put it away on my shelf now. I should have kept it out. We do sell it in packs of 25, and it's just a great price point too. And then what I did with these, and then I just took my distress inks and I used squeezed lemonade, and I just lightly kind of faded some distress ink in the centers of my florals, just lightly, all right, just to give it just a little yellow tone in the center. All right, so I'm going to keep these together so I know they go together. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm seeing all the hellos now. Okay, so I'm going to go really quick now because you see how I'm doing this. It's not difficult whatsoever. This is one of my favorite things to do, is doing these 3-dimensional florals. I don't spend enough time doing these, but I do like them. All right. We got 2 more to do. And then we'll start putting these together. Of course, I picked a panel that's got like 7 stems on it, but I like the design of it. So for these florals, I just cut 2 of each of the sizes. I'm going to layer it up to create 1 flower. So 2 of the same size to develop to create 1 floral. You could layer these more if you want, but this is what I'm using for this design. Okay, they're all shaped. All right, so now I'm going to glue these together. And what I'm going to do is, because I like using the foam pad, I'm going to flip my, well, I one side is always going to be for shaping, one side is for gluing. So I'm going to just glue on top of this one, and then I'll flip it over for shaping. All right. So for this here, I do normally recommend a hot glue. But this is my, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know where my charging cord is for this. And all the charging cords that I have that are excess are at the store. So I don't know if I have enough juice in here. We'll see if this warms up. If not, I'm going to use liquid glue. All right. So no worries. Now, this is where I like to use a stylus. All right. And I like to use a stylus to glue them together and kind of push the centers down. All right. Now, having said that, I'm going to get the centers. The centers I'm going to grab. And for this one here, I'm going to use my stylus because I want them kind of domed. So I'm just going to use my stylus and kind of just push in the center on the back side of these ones. And these ones I cut out and I inked with mustard seed distress ink. Okay, and I went pretty solid on the colors on this one. All right. Why hot and not regular? Because hot glue grabs right away. All right, so there's no worries of my floral shifting and all that. You have time to put it down. You have time to I usually put my stylus in the center to push down to create even more dimension, and that glue will grab right away. I'm not saying you can't use regular glue. You can. It's just a longer drying process. That's it. All right. I'm impatient sometimes, so that's, I don't know if this is getting warm. All right, I'm just gonna let that be and see if that warms up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just use regular glue here. So let's use my dries clear. All right. Okay, so all I do is the bottom one, I'm going to put a spot of glue. Okay. And then I'm going to take my second one that's going to go over top. I'm going to offset the petals for this one here. And then I'm going to grab my stylus and then I just push down in the center. All right. Now it's going to cup up those petals, as you can see, but that's okay because once it's dried together or glued together, then you can kind of bend them back and form your floral to however you want it. So I'm just going to let that sit. We may have to come back to this one just for the glue to dry. All right. So again, I'm just going to take each of them and I'm going to offset those petals and put a little pressure in the center. All right. I know they don't look very much like daisies right now. I don't know. I'm calling them daisies. I don't know if they're really going to look like daisies at the end, but I will push. I'm pushing so much pressure that those petals are cupping up. I will bend them backwards once they are all glued and the glue is dry. Oh, that is getting warm. I might be in luck. Well, I'll just finish these ones up. All right, so there are my florals. Now, let's see if this one I can kind of manipulate. So now I'm just going to kind of kind of bend those petals back. They cupped up, but it's got a nice little dimension on there now. Look how pretty that is. All right. I don't know if you would call that a daisy, but that's what we're going for. All right. So because I cupped these ones here, you can see that I've domed them a little bit. What I want to do is put a little foam square behind them, and it will kind of maintain that dome. So for this one, I'm just going to stick a foam square right in the center. And then I'm going to take the largest center here. And then I'm just going to stick that on. And we've got some really nice dimension. Look how pretty that is. Ah, so pretty, right? Okay, let's see if these ones I can do as well. I think the glue is set, so that's good. All right, so then these are my medium-sized ones, which the pop dots are just fitting over top. And then for the small ones, I'm going to have to cut some pop dots or foam squares in maybe half or quarters for them to fit. I need those itty bitty ones, but I don't have the patience for those little itty bitty ones. Okay. Scissors. All right. So I'm going to take my foam square and then I'm going to cut them in quarters. So now I have tiny little ones that are going to work on the tiny little florals here. First, I got to finish my medium one here. All right. All right. And one more, and then my flowers are complete. So thanks for hanging in for that, because I know that's not fun. You know, I'm just putting flowers together. But hopefully you learned a little tip and technique somewhere in there. All right, so there are my lovely florals. Oh, so pretty. All right, so you can see that those centers really have dimension. They almost look kind of realistic in a way, just by giving them a little shape and putting that foam square behind them. All right. Okay, now I'm going to just put them to the side, and I'm going to grab my panel, which is not that one. What did I do with my panel, everyone? There it is. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a little bit of blue ink on the top here, just to kind of mimic the sky. I'm gonna go a little bit heavier at the top edge and then kind of fade it down. All right, so for that, I am going to use a large brush. All right, so I'm gonna just grab my pink fresh brush here, and I'm gonna grab tumbled glass distress ink, okay? And so when we're doing something that's got a larger background, I like using a bigger blending brush. All right. Now I want to keep this pretty light and airy. So I'm just going to tap off on my lid here. And then just a reminder, when you're doing a blended background of any kind, you're going to start off the paper and then start rotating on the paper and then end off the paper. All right. This way you'll avoid any kind of brush marks. So start off the paper and then move onto the paper in rotating motion. And I always do clockwise and then counterclockwise. All right, so we're just adding that first kind of layer, and I'm adding it a little bit darker on the edge and then kind of just fading it down. This is just a very light inking. All right, so I'm just going to bring that up. I don't even know. Oh yeah, you can see just it ever so slightly. All right, I'm going to go back, load up my brush and kind of tap off. And then I'm going to do the same thing. And then I'm going to bring that color down just a little bit more. So what we want is a darker edge on the top, and we're going to fade it down. And of course, the foil will resist the ink. All right. All right, so let's see that. A very light fade on there. That's beautiful. I'm going to do it one more time. Build up the ink on my brush, kind of tap it off. Now, the reason why I tap it off on my lid, and I've shared this before, but I'm doing this again. The reason I tap on my lid, because now that I have ink sitting there, I'm not wasting any ink. And when I do any type of watercoloring with distress ink, I can pick it up off the excess ink that I put in the lid. All right. Just a little tip. All right. So again, starting on the edge and then just fading it down. And then I think I am good to go. All right, so there we go. We've got a lovely fade on there. Oh, love it. Okay. Like I said, this paper really is awesome to ink. Oops, I just turned off my light. Not that it really matters because the sun is shining through the window. All right, I'm going to clean up my craft mat here with my water, which is missing. There it is. Okay. So now let's go ahead and add our florals. So there is, you can see there are stems now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So now before I start placing these on permanently, I'm going to dry fit them. All right. So just kind of give them their placement to make sure everything will fit nicely. And then I'm happy with it. Okay, I think that will work. Look how pretty that is. All right. All right, so I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue them down one by one. And I'm just going to use my white glue with this because it's paper to paper. And I'm just going to place them right on top of the foiled stem. Now, the other thing you could do is you could go in and color these other elements if you wanted to. I'm not. I'm going to leave them just the way they are. How cute is this? All right. Look how pretty that is. Ah. It'd be really sweet too if you did different colored florals as well, but look at that. How pretty is that? Now that foiling makes it extra special. Um, so pretty. So I would mount this now onto a card base. Like I said, these are 6 by 6. No, they're not. They lied. They say they're 6 by 6, but they are 5 and 5/8, it looks like. But anyways, I'm going to mount it on a 6 by 6 card, and that's going to be lovely. All right, so I'll just mount it on a white card, which is lovely. So what do you think, guys? Super sweet. Once I have it mounted on a white card, again, I'll take pictures like I normally do and post them tomorrow morning. But there is number 1 done. All right, let's put that to the side. Now, you might have noticed that I had some poinsettias sitting here. And yes, I'm doing Christmas, everyone. I am doing Christmas because, well, Christmas came in today. We started receiving some of our Christmas product today, and I'm in a Christmas mood. So now I'm just flipping over my molding mat because one side I'm going to use for gluing and I will mark it, and one side I do for shaping. So I thought I would do another one really quick on this. And just to show you that, yes, you can use these for Christmas. I think I'm going to use the silver one, and I thought this one would be really cool. And you could cut these down as well. So if you wanted to make this into an A2 card, which I think I'm going to, you can trim this down. So I'm going to trim this down to fit on an A2 card before I can go. Is anyone else having issues with their feed? I have someone on that's having issues and only seeing a black screen. If you could let me know in the comments if the video is okay. We always have some techie problems, so I don't want to continue on knowing that we're having problems. So if you can see me fine, if you could pop some comments in there or give me a thumbs up, that would be wonderful. In the meantime, because there's a little bit delay, I'm going to just, okay, Liza, I'm not sure. It looks like everyone's else speed is fine, so I'm not sure what to suggest. Refresh is always a good thing. All right, so just go ahead and refresh, and hopefully the feed will come. Okay, so I'm going to take my little panel here, and I'm going to trim this down to 4 inches wide. All right, because I'm going to mat this on, and then 5 1/4. So actually, because this is like it's just over 5 1/2. I'm going to trim a little bit off the top and a little bit of bottom to keep those kind of leaves centered as best I can. All right, so I've trimmed that down. We'll make this into an A2 card. All right, and let's do the poinsettia now. This poinsettia, I don't have the die here. Well, I do somewhere in my mess, but these were just extra die cuts I had from last year's Elizabeth Crafts Floral. We will have this back in stock with our next order because it's such a beautiful poinsettia. But what I did is I cut the large and then 2 of the medium. And then this is one of the greenery dyes from Elizabeth Crafts as well. And it's just got some really great winter greenery. Okay, so I just went ahead and I die cut them out of that same Elizabeth Craft soft finish cardstock. And then I went and just inked them with my distress inks. All right, so sage green for this one here. This one here is forest moss with a little bit of brown. This is gathered twigs. And then the little holly leaves I did as rustic wilderness. All right. So, and then this is just fired brick. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shape these from the back side. All right, yay! Liza has video now. All right, so I did ink front and back because sometimes when you shape a floral, you see a bits of the back piece of it. So I just inked both. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead use my teaspoon. All right, and this is on the back side, and I'm just gonna drag that teaspoon down the petals. And I love when you do this because it does just kind of that natural curving of the petals. You get little creases in there, just like a poinsettia. Love it. All right. So I'm pretty hard with the pressure for this one here because I really want to get those kind of creases in there. You can also wet the backside of this paper. Just lightly mist it. It helps with the shaping as well. If you don't have the pressure or the strength in your hands, the grip in your hands. And then if you spritz that with water a little bit, just helps soften the paper. You just have to wait for the paper to dry before you go forward. All right. So, okay. So now I have my 3 poinsettias there. Ooh, the sun is really glaring on that. And I don't have my blind up yet in my studio. So just enjoy the shadows, everyone. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to start with the biggest one. And the biggest one, I'm going to see if my glue gun works here. Oh, I didn't flip my thing over. Okay, it is working. All right, so glue gun. I'm going to take my next poinsettia. We're going to offset those petals. And I'm going to grab my stylus and I'm going to push in the center. Okay, and you can see now, this is what I mean about having that hot glue. Because I pushed down in the center there, it really holds the shape. All right, that's why I like using hot glue, but only when it works. Okay. All right, so then the third one, again, I'm just going to offset the petals. I'm going to grab my stylus and push in the center. And just give it a few seconds for it to grab. And look at that beautiful poinsettia. Oh, I love it. So, so pretty. All right. I should put something in the center of this, but I don't have anything offhand. I will put some kind of pearl in the center to finish it off. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and now put this on here. Do I want to ink this a little bit? No, I'm going to leave it as is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to use my hot glue gun. And when I build up The glue stick doesn't want to hold in here. When I build up kind of like a little arrangement of florals, I always start with what is the focal point, which is my poinsettia. All right, so we're going to stick that right in there, and I only glue the center. All right, so I'm just gluing that. I'm going to tack that down. And the reason why I only want to glue the center is because now I want to tuck some of the elements in behind it. Okay, so now we've got our little pine branch here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim off a little bit here. All right. And this here, now I can just use plain white glue. All right. And now we can kind of build up our little arrangement. So we're just going to put a little pine branch there. And then I'm going to use the offcut one. And let's go here. I'm going to call this the mistletoe leaf. I don't know if that's the right, but I'm not even going to cut it. I'm just going to rip it. No one sees it. It gets tucked behind. All right, let's go ahead and layer that in. And now this one here, because I did rip it, I can just go in with a pair of scissors and just kind of, I don't know, I just follow and now it becomes another little piece. I just follow the kind of the line of the die, and then you can just do a simple cut, trim it so it's neat and complete, and then you're able to use that little offcut. All right, now my lovely branch is going to be too long. So again, I'm going to trim off a little bit here. So let's go, I'm going to rip that there. And let's stick that in there. And then I'll probably go in with some Nuvo drops on top of this to create the berries on there. And again, I'm just going to use my scissors and just clean up that little rip and just make it look like it was actually supposed to be that way. And let's stick that there. Okay, I'm really covering a lot of that foiling on there, but you can still see it. It's still peeking through. All right, I have a couple of holly leaves here. So I want to shape these ones. So I'm just going to flip that to the back side, and I'm going to just run it down. And now we have, actually, you know what? I'm going to go from the front side. Yeah, from the front side. Then we can kind of curl. I did 3, but I think I only need 2. Maybe. All right. This is what I mean. If you do the back side of it, because now I've curled that up, you might see the back of it. So that's always nice to color the back side of them. I didn't on this one, but I'm just going to go with it. Okay. All right. So let's just stick these guys in here. All right. And maybe we'll do, sure, let's do that one up there. All right. So there is our little Christmas. We've got a little sparkle coming in from the background with that little silver there. And I think what I'll do is I'll find some silver pearls to put in here and then probably mount it on a tiny little silver mat, and then maybe on red. And that's so effective. I mean, it's nice to have that little bit of foiling in the background, but it's a really, a great way to use your three-dimensional florals on, it's just a good base. All right, so there is that. So I'll finish that off camera. Like I said, I'll mat it onto some silver, put some pearls in the center of this, and then mat it maybe on a red cardstock, and maybe put some Nuvo drops on there. But these paper pads are just a good base, all right? So to start with. Okay, so that's it for the Elizabeth Craft florals. But now let's go to the, I'm going to turn off this guy because I'm afraid I'm going to get glue everywhere. All right. Let's go to that paper pad that coordinates nicely with these backgrounds. All right, so, well, I guess let's continue on with what we're doing here and work with the white ones. And then we can do some inking and such. So let's go ahead, let's pick a panel here. So I'm gonna do a black panel this time. We can do the heart maybe. No, let's do this one. Let's do this one. All right. So, do I want this one? I want to keep it simple. I don't want to be making lots and lots of florals. Okay, we're gonna go with that one, and then we'll do the heart one with. I'm gonna do the heart one with the colored florals because then I don't have to punch out so many. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do kind of a cluster of florals, kind of down in this bottom area here, and we're gonna use the inky ones. All right, so I have to see. There's some leaves. Okay, so let's go ahead. Do I want the? Are they all the same? No, they're not. Oh, now the decisions. All right, just go with this. All right. All right, so you have to be careful just punching these out. All right. Just giving them a little wiggle, wiggle, and they'll come out. All right, so there's that one. And then we're gonna do a smaller one like this. All right, and then I'm doing layers, so, and then that's a good center for this one. Let's do one more. Like, we'll do a smaller one. I don't think I have that shape yet. Okay, those are gonna be my 3 florals, and then I need some leaves. Let's go with that one. Are there different? Oh, there's a fun leaf. Oh no, these are the ones I want. I want these. Oh, those are colored ones. These are the ones I want. Ones like look like this. Okay. I have to see all my options before I move on. Okay, we're good. All right, so I have a bunch of florals here now, and now we're gonna go ahead and ink them. So yes, these panels, Margaret, you missed out on these ones. This is what we call the Build a Bouquet 6x6 card fronts, but they're not exactly 6x6. They will go onto a 6x6 card. And there are 36 in there. And they have 12 gold foiled, 12 silver foiled, and 12 black printed. All right. So you are going to get 2 of each of the designs and each of the color. How's that? All right. Let's go. And let's make these nice and colorful, only because I have really colorful florals here. So we're going to create one floral here, and we're going to do the same thing. We are going to shape these ones. All right. So these are the ones that come in the pad. All right. So I'm going to do kind of a larger floral, 3-layered, and then a 2-layer and a 2-layer, and then some leaves here. All right. So I have picked raspberry here. So let's go ahead and color these. All right, so I like using the finger daubers when I'm doing my florals. And I just kind of scrub the color on. All right. And this is that paper that accepts the ink so well. So you're going to get nice coverage on here. It's not going to take you long. I'm only going to do the one side of these ones. You can do both sides if you want to. But for time's sake, I am going to do one side. All right, so there's one color. And let's do saltwater taffy on this one here. This is a brand new pad. Saltwater taffy is not a color I normally use, but I opened it up yesterday for my video yesterday, and it was so juicy. I was like, oh my goodness, that went on strong, but it's a beautiful color. It will be used a lot more now that I have used it once and I fell in love with it. So, okay, the center of this one I'm going to do yellow, so I'll just hold off on that. And then let's do a lovely orange one because that's what I have here. So we'll do this one as an orange floral. Ooh, that one needs to be re-inked. Ooh, my carved pumpkin is dry. All right, just have to push a little bit more to get that ink down. All right, so there's that. And then I said I was going to do the center for this floral in yellow. So I'm going to grab my mustard seed. And remember, these are the florals from the Build a Bouquet pad, all right? These are the white ones, all right? So we're going to go to the colored ones in a second. All right, and then I'm going to color my leaves here. So we've got this kind of, the tropical leaf I'm going to do in a lighter color. I'm going to use Mowed Lawn on these guys. Okay, and then we're going to do Twisted. Okay, we're not going to do Twisted because I don't know where it is. Twisted Citron. All right, so this one's going to be Mowed Lawn as well. I'm not going to go rifling through all my inks. Just let's get going here. Okay, those are all colored. Now let's shape them. So I'm going to grab my shaping board here. I've got my teaspoon. I got my stylus. Okay. All right, so this one here, I'm going to shape from the back. All right, so again, oh, this shapes nicely. All right, so just using that teaspoon, dragging it from the top of the leaf or the petal down. All right, so I'm going to do that on both layers for this floral. All right, this is a little bit thinner paper than the cardstock I was using for the Elizabeth Crafts, but it shapes nicely, which is good. All right, so this one here, this floral that I'm going to make, I'm going to shape from the top. So this is one that I definitely should have colored the back because now we're seeing the white from the underside, but that's okay. All right, you will do a better job than I. All right, so that one is created, and then this one will go from the back. This one I'm kind of doing both sides of the petal. All right. And then this one here. And then let's put them together. Okay, I'm just going to use my white glue. Flip my board around so I can glue on this side. Okay. So just a spot of glue. I'm going to put this layer, this one together. That, I mean, that ink just inked it so beautifully. That actually looks like it's that color paper. It really accepted that ink so lovely. Okay, so glue down, and then I'm going to push in the center. And look at that pretty floral I just made. All right, so there's that. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Ooh. Again, once this is all set, I will kind of bend them back so that they're not all as crazy scrunched as they are. All right, now this little guy we're going to put in the center of this one. And then of course we'll finish these off with some pearls for the centers. I'll do that off camera, but I'm just going to put some centers in these ones. Okay, so now that glue is probably set. So now I can just go in and just kind of bend them back a little bit here. All right, but we've got some nice dimension on those florals. All right, so there are my florals. I'm just going to go ahead quickly and shape my leaves. So we've got this kind of tropical one. And then we have these kind of, I don't know, pointy leaved ones. Okay, shaped. All right. Can you foil the black printed panels? It's funny you should ask that, Sherry, because as I was prepping, I was thinking maybe, I don't know. It doesn't say if it's toner based or not, but I have to get my foil machine out, so I will try and let you know. So I'll do that off camera just because my foil machine is a little buried right now. But I'll try that after I'm done the video. And then I can pop it in the on the Facebook post and then answer that. All right. So, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and attach this now. So we're going to use this lovely heart one. Now, this is the black printed one. All right. Um, so no foiling on this one. All right. And now we can go ahead and just create a little cluster of florals on this heart. So this is my bigger floral, so I'm going to put that down first. I want to move this down now. I want to create just a cluster here. Okay, and now we can just take our leaves now and start adding them in. And of course, I've got ink on my white panel, some orange ink there. It came off my finger. Never fails. Okay, so there's my little cluster of florals there. It will definitely get finished up when I put some pearls in the center of them. And I think I'll do a die cut sentiment, something that's got a little bit of substance, and ink it in one of the colors that I've done the florals in to really bring that color in. And then I will matte it with a little bit of black and then maybe on one of the colors. All right. So, I mean, that's really simple. All right. So those are the white florals that you can ink. All right. So that turned out, I think that turned out pretty awesome. All right. It would have been even better if I colored the backside of my pink flower, but that's okay. You all got the idea, right? And Sherry, it's okay. I like challenges. So, and that's how we learn. All right. So, you got to ask those questions. You got to. So I will try. Don't worry. Don't you worry, I'll give you answers. Okay, so those were the white florals. Now, let's do a quick and simple card using the punch out flowers. This one here, I'm not going to shape, all right? We're just going to punch them out, layer them together, and add them onto a card front. So I think I'm going to do that kind of circular one I was going to do before, this one here. But I want the silver one. It's gotten dark in my studio. I think I have to turn the other light on. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna, that one is not the silver one, that's the black one. That's funny. There it is. Okay, that's the silver one. Okay, so we're gonna do this one. And let's go through now the printed colored ones. We've got yellow and oranges and blues. I think I wanna do blues. And all the different colors. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna punch out this guy here and this guy here. And okay, we'll repeat that one. And then we've got this little guy here in the darker blue. Let's do that one. And this one. And I like this shape of leaf. And I like this shape of leaf. I've just got to double check all the blues in here now because I want to just make sure I've looked at all my options. Okay, let's just go with it. Okay, we're just going to go with it. Okay, because we got the other one to show you. I still got to do that zipped up, right? So, okay. So for this one here, like I said, I'm not going to do any shaping. But this is just going to be straight layering. And I think I will use some foam squares on this. So if you're not all into the shaping, you can make really quick and simple cards or florals just with, okay, I'm going to go kind of here. And then I'm going to put a foam square in the center, and then I'm going to offset this one here, and then we're going to add some pearls afterwards. I mean, we're going to make this so simple. So let's do the exact same thing in the bottom corner. All right, and now let's add, I'm going to add a leaf here. You can also ink these as well to give them shading, which I probably should have done, but it's okay. That's going to get rid of any type of white edge that's on these guys. But we're doing a quick one because we got another whole set of products to show. All right, so I'm just going to throw that in there. All right, so that was quick and simple. A lovely little sentiment in the center. Add a little gems in here, and that is done. I mean, that is quick and simple, and that's using the colored ones. And like I said, you can shape these ones like we did with the other ones. You could go around with ink on the edges as well to give it a little bit of shading. But there's so much that you can do with these printed panels, and so much that you can do with these Build a Bouquet punch out florals. All right, so you can just have some fun and create florals all night long, and then they're ready to go. All right. So that is the Build a Bouquet printed panels, as well as the Build a Bouquet die cut pad. All right. So there are my 4 kind of lovely samples. All right. We'll finish them off and then off camera, and then I will display them tomorrow morning on our Facebook page. All right. So that is that one. Let's move on. I'm excited about this next one. Let me just tidy up. Give me 2 seconds, everyone, just to tidy up because we don't need the inks no more. This next bit is just a bit of die cutting. I didn't want to do this in 2 nights. I wanted to do it all in one because it's just so much. I have so much on my plate that I want to show you for What's Up Wednesdays that are scheduled. So I want to get 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. So okay. That is cooled off. And we are good to go now. Okay, so the next set of products from Hunkydory that are super fun, just gonna move this up, was this die called Zipped Up. All right. Now, of course, again, I got it in. I thought it was the coolest thing. And then I realized there was a coordinating paper pad to go with it. And this one's called Textile Fabrics and Fibers. So this one here is going to make a lovely card front in the shape of a zipper front off of a jacket or a sweater. And it's got all the elements to make your zipper, the trim as well as pockets, the little drawstrings if you had a hoodie on. I just love it so much. All right, little buttons. All right, so a lot of fun with this one to make some really great masculine cards, I think. But this paper pad has so many different fun textiles in there that you could have some fun for all ages. All right. There's a glittery one. I think that'd be great for a teenage girl. There's also kind of fur one as well. And then you've got some masculine in terms of the denims and the camouflage. And then there's knits and such. So let's make a couple cards with this. And I thought we could do one in gold and one in silver and just have some fun. All right, so let's open this up. In the paper pad, again, it's 8 by 8. All right, and there are 4 each of 12 double-sided designs. So there's 48 papers in here, all right? So each of them, there's 4 and they're double-sided, so you get to choose front or back, all right? So I just think it's so much fun. Doo-doo. Look at all those fun. There's that glitter. All right, some fun blue patterns in there. I love this white pattern here, knit pattern. There's the kind of fur one. This is kind of like fleece. And then the plaid, of course, we're going to do that one. That's right on top because I love that color. All right, so we're going to start with this one. And I think we'll mix that up with some silver. All right, so the only silver I had was this holographic silver. So it's really going to show rainbowy on camera. It's really not that rainbowy. It's just a reflection of the sun. But that's the only silver I could find really, really quickly. So it is what it is. All right, so I'm going to grab some white cardstock to give us a base. So, okay, so I'm going to trim a base that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, so our typical A2. All right, and we're going to work on this for our panel. Okay, so again, I'm going to cut another piece that is 4 1/4 by, you know what, if I cut this at 4, I'm changing my mind here. I'm going to be able to get more from this. So I'm going to be able to get 2 pieces. All right, so I'm going to trim this at 4 and then we'll mount it. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be what our sweater pattern is, if you want to call it that. All right, so we've got that. And we have to cut the opening of our sweater. Oh my goodness, I can't get in this. Okay. All right, so I'm pretty sure you can use this one. I think that's the same. Yes, okay. So this is that little V cut here, and that's going to cut the V cut on here. So basically, you are going to just kind of position it. I'm going to eyeball it. If you want to measure it, you definitely can. I'm just eyeballing it, and then I'm going to tape it down. If I can find my tape. Sorry, I found my tape. It was on the floor, so I thought I'd just grab my die cut machine as well. Okay, so we're going to just tape that in place. So again, just eyeball it. You want to bring it right up to the top. And then I'm just going to tape that in place. All right. We don't need these shims. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this glass mat. I thought I could use my Scout. I grabbed my Scout to do this, and then I realized it's a bigger paper here. So, okay, so all these extra plates. Here we go. We're going to cut the opening now that just moved on me. Okay. And so you've got a little bit of playroom with this too. So if you don't get it directly, if it moved on you like mine, um, you're not going to fret about it. All right. It will still all be okay. Okay. That is on there. Let's get this done. Now I have my handle on, so I've got to put it right to the side of my table here. Love this handle. Love the handle. All right. All right. So now we've got the V cut in there. All right. Now I think I can do my scout. Okay. Gonna grab my holographic now, and we are going to, I want to make sure I have this right. So we're gonna do this piece, and the little zipper handle. We're going to do that in the silver. No, all right. And then this here is actually the trim of the zipper. All right. So I love the fact that they gave you it extra long. So you can do it on a 5x7 card or an A2 card. So, which is lovely. All right. So we're going to take these two pieces here and let's get these trimmed out. I got to make sure I don't lose that. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a piece. I'm just going to trim out a piece of this silver that's long enough. All right, I would take a little bit more time and be a little bit more careful, and so I wouldn't have to waste so much, but I feel like I'm a little rushed right now because those flowers took me so long, but that's okay. All right, so let's go ahead and trim out this zipper part now. Okay, so we've got the 3 pieces to make the zipper. And I think metallic paper would be the best for this. Um, you know, there's some really great golds out there, some great silvers, whether it be mirrored or glossy. And then you could also do kind of bronzy with copper colors and such. So, all right, so those are the pieces. And I'm just going to put them right on the side here. Take a look at the zipper. It's so cool. Like it looks like a real zipper head. They've done the details on this really nicely, I gotta say. All right, there is that. I have never made one of these before. I am just like thinking I know what I'm doing. Let's just hope I am. Okay, then I think what I'm gonna do is, do I have cardstock this color? Will this work? Yes, that will be close enough. All right, so then I'm going to just take plain cardstock. This is going to be the trim of the zipper. So let me just do a rough cut of this and let's trim that out. I just think this is a die that you'll be able to use over and over the years. I think it'd be really cool to come up with some, you know, great masculine cards, feminine cards. I'm pretty sure you could probably come up with other things that you can use zippers for as well. Okay, so we've got that and that. And well, let's see. Let's just start with this. All right, so this zipper here, and I want to make sure, I'm just going to refer back to the picture on here because this is my first time doing. Yes, okay. So this little piece here is going to go on the back side of the V cut that's on our trim. All right, so you're just going to position it so that it matches up top. All right, so you can see that it fits in there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use regular glue. Move that up just a tad bit. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. All right, I got a little bit of excess glue there, but that's okay. It's going to be covered. All right, so then this piece here, I'm gonna use my tweezers this time, is going to get glued down on the trim, not behind the trim, obviously on the trim in the center. And what's going to cover kind of the middle part will be the actual zipper head. All right, so this here, you're going to match the bottom, you're going to center it left and right as best you can. I'm sorry, I know my fingers are in the way. All right, so there is that. And then our little zipper head now is going to go right over top of all that mess in the where the two kind of meet. All right, so if I hold this up here, you can see that I've got a solid piece. I've got some gluey mess in there. That's going to be covered by the zipper head. And I think what I'm going to do is put a little foam square behind it, just to give it a little bit of dimension. Ooh, ugly sweaters at Christmas. Janice, what a great idea. Ooh, that could be fun. All right, so there is our little zipper on there. Oh, all right. Now this here, this will go ahead and now match up on here. All right. So that's why I said you have a little bit of playroom in there. So if you didn't get that in there, you can just shimmy it over just a tad bit. You do have a little bit of extra room, but look how fun that is. All right. Now this here, I think what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to mount it on a piece of the green to match, or the seafoam color. All right, let's get our zipper on. So we're just going to glue that. All right, so there is our little sweater, and this is where the excess is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, just flip that to the back side, and I'm just going to trim that right off. All right, so there we go. And like I said, I think I'm going to trim this as our base. So just give me 2 seconds and I will trim this as best I can. It may not be perfect, but that's okay. All right, so now this is going to go on like so, and then I could put it onto my card front, which would be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. All right, so let's get this on, and then we can start playing with some of the little added embellishments. Maybe we'll put a pocket on there. Maybe we'll put a little bit of the drawstrings. All right, so look how fun that is. Oh, I love it. Okay, why don't we put a little pocket detail on here, because we can. All right, so from the die, you have the pocket, and then you have the pocket flap. All right, so we could put a little pocket here, and then we could do a little flap on there. I'm going to do it on here. I'm going to do it on this side. All right, so I'm going to do the pocket, and I love the stitching detail on there too. I'm going to do the pocket in the plaid, and then we'll do the pocket flap in the cardstock. So let me get that. Thanks for hanging in there tonight, everyone. I know I'm going, that's not too bad. It's only what, 10 after 8? I'm doing okay. I thought it was a little bit later than that. All right, there's our cute little pocket. And then here's our pocket flap. All right, let's do the drawstrings. Let's make this into kind of a hoodie sweater. So, We'll do this in the same kind of bluey teal color here. I love that they give you all the little pieces, right? You can really have some fun in creating your own kind of shirt. Okay. I'm wondering, I'm going to do a little button only because I can. Let's just use all the pieces. I just want to show you all the pieces and how lovely detailed they are. So we'll do that in the silver. It will cut 2 buttons at the same time. So if you're doing a double pocket, then you could have, we're only going to use 1. Oh, those are cute little buttons. Oh, they're cute. You know how sometimes you get buttons as a die, but I find them sometimes always so big, right? So, okay, I'm going to glue my little flap onto my pocket. Again, I love the stitching detail on there. All right, there's my pocket. All right, then I'm going to put my little button on the button flap or the pocket flap. All right, and then we're going to pop this one up. So the other thing that you can do too, instead of using the zipper, you could do the trim. I'm just thinking now, you could do the trim and then you could put buttons down there as well. All right, instead of doing a zipper, you could do the buttons. Like I said, there's so many different ways that you can play around with this set, and I think that's what makes it so versatile. Now I feel like I have to do another one with the buttons because I think that would be super cute. All right, here is our pocket. So let's put that right about there. All right, and then I'm going to grab our little strings here. Oh, and I see what they did. All right, I'm just going to, all right, I'm going to glue them on, and then I think I'm going to use little silver gems for the little, what is called the rivet, where it comes out of the trim and the little knot. I'll use silver gems. They cut it out twice and then layered it, cut and layered it. So, all right. And then, oops, that one's upside down. All right. So that will go over top of the pocket there. Oh my gosh, this is so darn cute. All right. Look at that. Take a look at that. How sweet is that? Oh my gosh. Love that. All right. How fun is that? Oh, all right, so then this is going to go onto my card front with a little bit of a white border. And how, look at that. Awesome. All right, so let's get it on there. All right, guys, you got to get this die. I just think that's just so much fun. All right, so there is our little hoodie, I guess. I'm not sure. Our little shirt card. How fun is that? All right, should we do one more? Should we do one more? I feel like I need to do no one more with those patterns. So let's do a denim shirt. All right, with buttons. All right, no zipper this time. Let's do a denim shirt. Which denims do we have? Is it just the 2 denims? All right, let's do the denim shirt. Okay, so again, I am going to cut this at 4 inches wide instead of 4 1/4. This way I can get 2 panels. All right, 2 panels from this. I think you just get more bang for your buck. So I'm going to do one, instead of doing the zipper this time, we're going to use the buttons. I think this will work. All right, so 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take that V cut. All right, so we want to make that opening in our shirt. So you're going to take that V1 and you're going to place it on the top, and I'm going to center it as best I can, left to right, and I'm going to tape that down, and then we're going to cut that out. Oh, my plate is not in there. Okay. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera. I know. Okay, so there is our little piece there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the trim in the same pattern now. I don't know if this is like going to work as I think it is, but we're going to try. All right, so no zipper this time. We are definitely just doing the buttons. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, tonight and hanging in there. All right, so this is going to go on like so. And then we're going to cut a bunch of buttons now. And I have kind of like a muted gold. So we'll use that for the buttons. So I'm going to say we probably need at least 8 buttons. So I'm going to cut this 4 times. So just bear with me as I'm going to cut this out. I also think we should have a pocket on our denim shirt here too. Just the pocket. We don't need the flap or anything. So I'm just going to grab that and this here and trim that out at the same time, and then we'll start putting this together. Sorry, I'm making the camera shake because I'm rushing. I'm rushing. All right, one more set and we should be good. Okay. Let's put this together. I think I'm going to ink this a little bit just so that it stands out a little bit. So let me. I don't think Blueprint Sketch is the right color. I would probably do Faded Jeans. Oh, here it is. Faded Jeans on my desk. It seems like the appropriate color to use with denim. All right. So by inking the edges of this, it's just going to help so it doesn't get lost, all right? It's going to make it stand out just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. All right, so just double checking, making sure I'm not missing any comments or questions, and I'm not, it doesn't seem like. So, okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges of my panel here. Well, I guess I don't have to do the inside because that's going to be covered. Gotta say, this pattern looks like real jeans, real faded jeans. Okay, let's put this guy together. All right, so we're gonna start with first our trim. All right, so I'm just going to apply some glue. And we're gonna add that. Oops, a little bit higher. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna trim off the excess. And in fact, I probably should have used maybe a little bit of brown ink or maybe a different blue, just to really make it pop out. But that's okay. I know for next time. All right, let's grab my little pocket. The pocket I'm going to pop up again. So I'm going to grab some foam adhesives. You know, I just had them. Okay. Doo -doo. I have no idea where these round foam adhesives came from, but they're in my stash. Oh, you know what? I think they came from Uniquely Creative when I did a class with them. All right. All right. So let's put our little denim pocket again. I'm putting it on the right-hand side. And now we're going to do our little buttons. All right. So I'm going to poke out the little innards, little buttonholes. And I'm going to dry fit them first, all right? I want to get them in place and get my spacing and before I start putting them down. So I think I can get 4 down the front. It's funny. Ruby says, "I love to hear you having so much fun." I seem to have more fun when I don't have a game plan, right? I'm just creating. It's not usually how I typically run my lives. I always like to have a game plan, but and then I think we have to put, because we want to make it look like an open shirt, I guess. So do we put the buttons on the side here just like it would be opened? I think we need one on the pocket here as well. Margaret, yes, I'm aware of that company. I actually reached out to them just a while ago, but they've been out of stock for a while, of them because we wanted to bring them in, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting again. So, they had the little tabs on them to pull off. So, do we want? I don't think I want the buttons on here. I think I'm going to take them off. I think I'm just going to leave them down the front like so. I think it's a little too much when they go up the side. Just saying. All right, so I'm happy with the placement. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue them. And you could actually use foam squares to put behind these guys too, to pop them up, um, which would be super fun. You could actually use a fine line marker and draw on the threads of the buttons as well if you wanted to. lots of different things, even a white gel pen. You could do kind of the white denim stitching. Oops. There's so many things that you can do. All right. So look how fun that is. And then I don't think I'd put it on white. I think I'm going to do it on navy blue. But how fun is that? You could even back it up. Ooh, I like that. All right, let's just cut a little piece to go behind that V cut. I guess you don't really need a whole panel. But you do need to have it straight. Okay. Haha, look how fun that is. My little denim shirt. So sweet. And then of course, then that can go on to a panel of, let's see what I got. That is two. I don't know if these are the right colors. No, I need a navy blue one. I'll have to go looking through my stash. Oh, that one's not so bad. I have to go through my stash and find a navy blue panel. But there is the zipped up die from Hunkydory. Oh, so much fun. So I'm just going to bring that die back out. And then, of course, the textile fabrics and fiber pad, I think is so much fun. I love the knits in there too. That'd be super fun to create little cardigans and then zippered ones as well. Is there a collar? No, there is no collar with this one because it's meant based on the kind of the hoodie with the zipper on there. I just made it into a little shirt there with no collar. It's no collar. All right. So, but I'm sure that you could be very creative in creating. I'm wondering, just because you asked, Janet, I'm wondering. Doo -doo. I'm wondering if you can use a little pocket flap, which I seem to have lost the die now. It's here somewhere, but I'm wondering if you can create. I am wondering if you can create. Oh my gosh, I think I've lost the pocket flap die. It is here somewhere, but I'm wondering if you can cut. Oh, there it is. I'm wondering. I betcha. You know what? Let's do it. Only because she asked. Let's see if I can create. I think with this pocket flap, you're going to be able to create a collared look. Now I've lost the top of my, there it is. Oh, I need a bigger workspace. Yeah, Margaret, that's exactly the name of the company. Yeah. Innotech. Let's see. All right, so this is just the pocket flap. I'm pretty sure that you could probably use the pocket itself, but this is a little bit smaller and manageable. So let's see what we can do here. I think we need to ink it too. So let me get, I don't know where my finger dauber, that went. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess. All right, I'm just going to ink them just to be consistent. I know we're going to have to trim off a little bit. Oh yes, I think we can do this. So if we do it this way, I think it's going to work. Janet, you're brilliant. Thanks for asking that. All right, there's my other pop dots. I don't know where the round ones went. All right, I'm gonna I'm going to put some foam squares behind this. And then we're just going to angle this in such a way to create, and I'm going to just have it hanging off the edge. All right. So let me just get it down and then I'm going to explain what I'm doing. All right. So I took that pocket and I have it lined up with that little trim edge here, and it's just slightly overhanging the edge there. All right. And we're going to do the same thing here, and I think it's going to work. You're going to tell me whether or not it works or not. And I want you to be honest, everyone. If you think I'm just... All right, so again, I'm going to angle it. Right, that looks the same. All right, let me just trim this off. What do you think? Does it resemble a collar? Will it work? I think it does. I'm waiting for everyone to tell me yes or no. All right. I don't know if I would go the other way. No, I don't know if I should have put it the other way. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it as is. I have a collar on my little denim shirt. And I think it looks okay. All right. Janet says she loves it, so thank goodness. But okay, so now we've made this into a collared shirt. So now that dye is even that much better because yes, you can make it into a collared shirt. Um, so there's that. All right, everyone, I gotta call it a night. Do them the other way? Yeah, I think so too. I'm wondering if the all right, you know what? I'm gonna just cut one. I'm gonna cut one and then just put it on the other side and just see see, well, maybe we won't because I can't find my all right, so let's see if we do it the other way. I'm gonna just slightly pull this off. Let's see if I can do this. And then we have the best of both worlds on there, and then you can decide for yourself whether or not it works. I don't know where my blue one went again. So we're just going to use whatever blue one that is. And we're going to do the reverse. You're all thinking it should go the other way. I think so too. Okay, so that means the straight edge is going along. Yeah, I think it has to go this way. All right, so now I'm going to take this one off and flip this other one on. Although I think the angle of this one is not going to work. Yeah, it's not, but all right. But yeah, I think the angle, having the straight edge on there is going to be better. I have to cut another one because the angle cut on here is not going to work. All right. So there is that. So yeah, I agree with you, Ruby. I think the collar needs to be longer. This way you could actually push this one up. All right. You could definitely push it up. So instead of trimming off the excess, you could push it up and then use them as the collars, and I think it would work even better. So so yes, that there we go. We can make shirts, we can make hoodies, we can make jackets, we can make coats. There's so much that you can do with this dye. All right, everyone, that is it for me and the fun Hunkydory products. And this one, again, is called Zipped Up. All right, so that is that all-inclusive dye for zippers to make hoodies and such. And as I showed you, you can make it into shirts. All right. And then, of course, we have the coordinating textile fabrics and fibers with all those fun patterns in there to create all the things. And then we started off this evening with the printed florals card fronts from Hunkydory. All right, so we had these guys here, all right, with the Build a Bouquet die cut pad, and we created some lovely card fronts with them. Some we added Elizabeth Craft three-dimensional florals that we inked and sculpted and such. The rest of the florals were made from the Build a Bouquet die cut pad. So I'll finish these off. I'll post them tomorrow morning on our Facebook page so you can see the end results and what I created. I really appreciate you all joining me this evening and staying tuned. I hope you had lots of fun and learned a thing or two. And you know, the Hunkydory has such amazing and fun products. I love it. So that's it for me, everyone. Have yourself a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.